Good morning. It's Tuesday, December 17th, about 6 a.m. Central Time. All right, the precious metals across the board are under pressure. Hopefully this is the last day that I'm in this office here as my daughter is scheduled to be released, and then I can go back to the home office there in Destin, Florida. So looking at some headlines to watch here. The Fed kicks off its final meeting of 2024 with unanimous expectations of a 25 basis point interest rate cut. We have the decision tomorrow with the 10-year Treasury yields at 4.42%, the 2-year at 4.22%. Both of those have been cycling higher, adding to the dollar index and putting pressure on the gold market. It leaves a ripple effect on other metals such as silver, copper, etc. So looking at it, taking a brief look at the equity markets, the Dow has had its longest losing streak since 2018, so down about 8 sessions in a row, while the tech market continues to hover near all-time highs. If you look at December Bitcoin, it topped out right around 108,000 overnight and continues to hang out at those all-time highs as well. Now, shifting to the overnight price action on the precious metals, you do have gold down about $15 at $26.55. The range here, $26.51. We'll see if that $26.50 has any kind of level of support on the charts. And then also the high $26.75.80. Looking at the overnight price action, gold is falling as traders digest several different central bank decisions are due out. The Fed's going to make its final policy decision here on the year tomorrow, followed by announcements in Japan and the UK here this week. Looking at the CME's Fed Watch tool, swaps are fully pricing in a 25 basis point cut as the US looks at those other clues here. Once the Fed releases its meeting, they do release the dot plot. You'll also see Jerome Powell speak, and then we can kind of get a gauge here of what to expect in 2025. I think it's the number of interest rate cuts coming down in 2025, which has really been that headwind here for the gold market recently. Looking at silver, 30.73 here last, down 31 cents. That's about a 1% move. The range overnight, 30.61 and 31.11 on the upside. The gold silver ratio continues to climb to 86:1. You get into the copper market down 5 at 413.80, and then platinum down 9 here at 932. So shifting to the outside markets, you do have oil again down about 60 cents at 69.68. The dollar index up 8 straight trading sessions. So that's where a lot of this pressure on the metals and some of the other markets that many of you and myself follow closely here. 106.69, that's up 14. It could retest that 108 level. That would be the contract highs. You got, of course, Bitcoin at record highs, and the S&P 500 for March is down about 19 at 61.34. So you got this broad-based sell-off going on in the equity markets. I think that traders are really ramping up their shorts or they're liquidating positions ahead of this key data and also risk events this week. So you get over to what's going on. CME Fed Watch tool shows a 97% chance that the Fed should cut 25 basis points at that meeting here tomorrow. 1 week ago it was 84%. This thing's been doing nothing but ramping up. I really expect to see if they do cut that 25 basis points, it might be a hawkish cut here, but I think a lot of that's being factored in. That's why the positions are being driven that way. So today we're going to get core retail sales, capacity utilization, industrial production, and also business inventories. Kind of a general thought that I was having, they put MicroStrategy in the NASDAQ. MicroStrategy is this like reckless bet on Bitcoin. Of course, yes, with it going up, you could make a lot of money on it. But yes, with it going down, you could lose a lot of money on MicroStrategy. Plus, Michael Saylor, not to attack him, he takes out a lot of debt to purchase more Bitcoins. Couple other thoughts are, what if he buys all the Bitcoin in the world? Then what is it truly worth? I'm not sure, because if he holds all the eggs, maybe no one will want that particular product anymore and they'll go to other things as well and it'll slowly die off. These are just general thoughts, that's all. I'm not attacking Bitcoin or MicroStrategy. It's just some things that I was thinking about. Like, what if Bitcoin corrects 10 or 20%? How does that impact MicroStrategy? And then how does that impact the NASDAQ? Because the NASDAQ has had just a wonderful ride. Or what if Bitcoin goes to 200,000? Does the NASDAQ, because of that MicroStrategy exposure, continue to go up and reach unprecedented levels? That's all just a general thought here. So some key technicals back on the gold and silver. Gold is kind of consolidating. It's had this $100 chart pattern here. So some levels I'm watching: the 50-day at 27.01, the trend reversal point at 27.55. So these are breakouts. We break out over 27.01. We break out over 27.55. 2,800 all-time highs. People will be talking about it. The critical support, if you look at the chart, we're kind of coming in near some of these recent lows here. 26.35.40. I think if we break below that, we could retest the 2,600 level. So today's probable trading range, it's been a little bit volatile overnight. 26.42 on the downside, 26.87 on the upside. If we could break above 87, 27.03. If we break below that the 42, we might run down to 35. When we break below that, it's going to be 26.14. So the silver market kind of shifted into this bearish to neutral. You guys don't want to hear bearish on there, but we've kind of come down here in this fashion where the neutral comes in because of the fact we're at the bottom of the range. We're approaching the 200-day moving average, which is at 30.38. A lot of people wait for that test of the 200-day moving average, and then they position in that market. Your resistance point is the 50-day moving average at 32.19, and today's probable trading range, 30.46 on the downside, so getting awfully close to that 200-day moving average. And then on the upside, it would be 31.40. We got a lot of data coming out. This is the last full week of trading in 2024. We get in these holiday periods, people really start to think about longer term positioning. I believe that if they believe higher inflation is going to be in 2025, if they believe that China is going to hit their 5% growth targets and continue to make some adjustments to their economy, you should see silver and copper, platinum all start to trend higher. The gold market is a market that central banks continue to buy. India continues to import. So I think that the downside on the gold market is quite limited. It's just frustrating because you get these things where it looks like it's going to really break out and really accelerate higher. And that's where many of you are playing that 35, 40, 45, 50 on silver. And then the 3,000 on the gold market. It's just going to take a lot more time to get there. But that's why we look at longer term option strategies to position for that as well. That way we don't miss it if it does break out to the upside, and then we continue to trade around in our positions as we channel back and forth while maintaining a core position on those markets. So you got any questions? Hopefully, in hopes of terrible strategy, I'll be back at the other office and we'll be out of University of Florida because that's where we're at right now. And we've been here for about a week and a half here. So a little bit brutal. But you guys got any questions? Give me a call, 312-858-7303. Remember, futures option trading does involve risk loss, may not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.